Hi, my name is Sharon O'Dwyer. I'm a nutritional therapist. So, what I'd like to do today is introduce a really important topic, and that's the topic of girls in sport, or really it affects boys and girls as well, but we'll be specifically talking about girls. And the first thing I want to say is that it's fantastic that more girls are getting involved in sport at all levels, and it's to be encouraged at every age and at whatever level they're at, because there are huge benefits to exercise, both physically and mentally. And in general, even though I'm going to be talking a little bit about some risks, um, the benefits by far outweigh any of the risks. However, the topic I want to talk about is it's so important, and it's actually a lot more common than we realize, that I think it really warrants both parents and coaches to be really on the lookout for this. And that is the area of energy availability. So, what I want to just touch on briefly here is what I mean by energy availability is eating enough to cover all of our sports requirements for sports and exercise. So we're going to be talking about just introducing some of the risks involved. What are some of the symptoms and signs to look out for and to be um, aware of, and what to do about it. So when I talk, so we have to make sure that our young athletes, boys and girls, are taking in enough to cover what they need. So what do they need the energy for, or for the food for? Well, it needs to cover about 70% of what any of us take in is to cover the basics of keeping us alive. So it's to keep our lungs, our heart going, our brain functioning, and all the physiological processes that are going on in the body. And for our young athletes, it also needs to cover the cost of growth and development. And then on top of that, we need energy to actually break down our food. And then on top of that is the energy required for doing the sport or exercise at whatever level. And I think we really underestimate how much our young athletes need to cover all of those costs on our energy. And the problem happens when our energy balances out. In other words, what we're spending in exercise is higher than what we're actually taking in our food. Um, the body will struggle to keep our young athlete exercising, but it'll be at the cost of our internal chemical processes. So damage starts to be done in our body that we might not be initially aware of. So for instance, it'll impact our ability to produce hormones, and for girls, it can cause delay in actually having periods. So by 15 or 16, if girls aren't having a period, that's a big red flag. Or if they are having periods and it starts to be disrupted. And so clinically, amenorrhea is when there's no periods for 3 months, a huge red flag, and it really needs to be brought to the attention of a doctor straight away. And not having a period or skipping a period, or say 3 periods, and that sort of a disrupted cycle means that there's not enough energy in our body to produce the hormones, and those hormones are needed to have healthy bones. So if there's not enough food going in, it impacts the health of our bones, and that can cause irreversible damage that leads to a very early diagnosis of osteoporosis, or general more brittle bones, and more likely to get breakages. And as well as that, internally, again, if there's not enough energy going in, it impacts our ability to produce a healthy immune system. It produces for general growth and for cognitive function. So it affects every impact part of our body. So as coaches or as parents, what we really need to be on the lookout for is our young athlete Are they more tired? Are they starting to get more tired? Is their performance in their sport plateauing or even going down? Are there more niggles, more injuries? Are they getting sick more often? Um, and it can impact certain sports maybe more than others where a low or a lean weight is an advantage, like ballet, gymnastics, running, but really any sport. So really be on the lookout for that. Um, and if any of these signs and symptoms are something that you've observed, really important to get down to a GP as quickly as possible, and to have and sorry to backtrack. And for girls, it's if their period is disrupted or hasn't started at age 15, 15 or 16. And so get down to the GP, get yourself fully checked out with the measurements, with a full blood count, because if there's low energy availability, in other words, you're not eating enough, the chances are you're going to be low on some of the key nutrients that we need for health and well-being, which are things like calcium, vitamin D, really important. And both of those are key to good bone health. B12 for energy, iron. So get those looked at. And if low energy is the issue, because of course, any of the signs I've mentioned can be caused by other things as well. But the first thing, especially for girls or for any of our young athletes, is energy. Is there enough going in? So go and see a nutritional therapist or a dietitian, and they will be able to assess quite mathematically through software how much is coming in on the diet. Once a food diary has been done, how much is being spent out, and there are formulas and algorithms that can calculate those and assess what might be missing, and if there's a mismatch between what's coming in and what's going out in exercise, and then draw up a plan as to how you can balance the energy. So that's just a brief introduction to energy availability and how it can impact our young athletes. And I've just specifically drew attention to the impact on girls. So I hope you found this useful. And if you want to get in touch, my details are below. Thank you very much.